and then the next one, Turbo is going to grab the mace chain, fling it around like a bolo, and then like whip it around his head and smash it and crush him. So he's done. But I don't know. This is all kind of like unclear. So that's why I need to work this stuff out here. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Making the Turbo Pit Fighter comic podcast, whatever. I don't even know what the title is of this show, but we have a science fiction post-apocalyptic comic that we make called Turbo Pit Fighter. Number 1 and number 2 are in progress right now, and it's soon to be a future graphic novel. I'm Jake Jacobs, and I'm the penciler and lead scriptwriter, and I'm here with my partner Kurt Bruegel. He's the inker and secondary scriptwriter guy, and we're just meeting every week, and we're making pages, and we're going page after page after page after page through this really cool story, and we hope that you can sit with us for a while and get into it as we discuss the comic and the world of comics. So, how was your week, Kurt? Anything to report?
Oh no, just the regular grind, and very much wanted to get into some of the stuff we talked about with the pinup, which is finished. And I
Yeah.
did make the 3 edits you had requested, which was kind of frazzling her hair out a bit,
Uh huh.
and then not such a like black eyeball, and
Right.
then her little booties here, her, thigh high
Yeah.
fuzzies. I just put some white out. There's a little bit of transparency to it, which is kind of nice. There's some of that
Yeah.
is there. And then what I'm going to be working on today is my gray valued. So here is a black and white print. So it's
Uh huh.
a 13 by 19 is what I work on. So I just went ahead and scanned the original and then printed out onto this here 13 by
Yeah.
19. So I'm just going to go with my black color pencil right now. And I have already started, as I was saying, her shirt's not black and white. You have made that decision years ago. So I'm going to be kind of bringing in a darker tone into the stripe, and then a grayer tone into the white striped area, and then
Right.
go
But
from
you could
there.
also leave out the highlights of the white stripe area so that there is. I mean, my rule of thumb is that there's always at least one area where it's just dead paper, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Be- because this way you get the full range
yeah,
in there. Yeah. Great. Yeah. No. So it's a really valuable tool to go back in with white if you have a good covering white, right?
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I got some of
Um.
this. Been working with this deleter white too.
So you're gonna have the line art, and then you're gonna have another version that has the gray
Yep.
tones, which will have to be screened in order to be reproduced in some way, whether it's a dot screen or stochastic screening, whatever methods they have today.
Yeah, well, it goes into what we've been talking about with different variant versions here of this comic we're making. And I think one of the exciting things is that we'll have like some time of experimentation. So, we'll give this a whirl and that a whirl. So,
Yeah, so I'm working on this page, and I just realized that I'm skipping a step here. I have this page right now where the truck went up on 2 wheels and sent the guy flying. These Turbo just clothesline these two jokers over here, and they're still flying in the air, coming down. But now my notes are a little bit rough here because you know I originally had her like stomping their heads into the ground, but I realized that I just sent them flying in the air. They got flipped up the other way, like their bodies went, tumbling into the air. So now I have to kind of rejigger how this next panel is going to go in this next panel. And I realized that I didn't make my rough page. I usually take these little thumbnails and make it into a rough
Yeah.
page before I go to my pencils, so I could just kind of compose the thing. So I'm going to be doing a rough page before I go into this next thing. And I think look, see, I started it here. I'm retracing my
Right.
steps. I started it here, and I had them being pummeled into the dirt, which would have been cool, but now I had them getting like kind of yoked on their necks and flipping up the other
Yeah,
way.
because you had gotten on a tangent where there's a new splash page, which was an inspired um, Paul Galassi Masters of Kung Fu photo movie
Yes,
montagey
Taj.
thing. So, and then
I
that kind
took
of,
a 2 week. I took a two
yeah.
week side turn into a page montage,
And then
which
we
came
did
out really well.
pinups, and you have another pinup you're still working on, but I'm going to finish this here today, and then I will be returning to page 20 of issue one. So,
Yes, and so that's one thing I have to report this week is since we last spoke, um, I have some pinups that I sketched. Actually, a couple of them are downstairs, but I have one here, and I just used my light pencils. I ordered some of these blue tone pencils online, and I was really disappointed because I got a pack of them, and look, they hardly even
oh,
draw.
who makes them? Who makes them?
This one is Prismacolor,
What?
which I thought was a great name, but
Is it their
it's a hard.
non-repro blue?
Yeah, it's called Copy Not non-photo
Yeah.
blue, but it's too hard.
Mm, is it? It
So
might be
so
the
then
very thin version. They have a.
well
Is it?
it's
Is it a very thin version?
no these it's just too hard. It doesn't even show up on the comic paper.
Yeah.
And here I was at Michael's the other day, and I was looking in the clearance rack, and they had a couple. They had a whole bunch of pencils on the clearance rack. So for $1 a piece, I bought these sky blue artist loft pencils, which are much softer. So I can use these, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna bring these other ones to school and let the kids fritter them away. But I also ordered another brand of non-repro blue pencils, so hopefully when those come, they'll be better. I got to get it just right. And once I have like 10, that'll last me like, more than a year, more than 2 years probably. Um, but yeah, this is where I'm at. I'm gonna have to go back and forth here between my thumbnails and my full page roughs in order to plan this out because folks, you don't just take a blank comic page and just start drawing story. You need, at least I do, I need some thumbnails and I need some ideas of basic layout guidelines, even if the most crude roughs. So right now I have to, and unfortunately I did this in the same book, so I have to go back and forth between this and this right now, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So here, these guys are flying in the air, all right, and I already divided up my page into these horizontal slats, which I don't know why I keep doing, but I do. Um, and this one's already done. So Turbo's here, and she's like landing on the ground, and these guys are flying in the air, right? I mean, you can see the panel's already done. So this is going to be the last 1-2 guys that she has to fight before they can get into the clear and then coast down the hill to the town where Mr. Ike is. So yeah, let's see. So what's going to happen next is that these two guys, I could have them threatening Trophy inside the truck, or I could have them. I don't want to redo all these other pages. Oh, but I have to ask you a question because in this page I had the two guys are attacking her. She's gonna take a crossbow arrow in the arm, um, in order to get these guys. And I was thinking that Trophy would back up over one of the guys and kill him,
But doesn't
but
the ice cream truck just have it has to stay in motion, isn't it? Like out of juice or something like that?
no,
I
it
thought it.
has a little bit of power. Yeah, it had. They're running low on power.
Mm,
They mention,
mm.
but luckily it's all the way downhill from here, and they can conserve a lot. And but what I was thinking about here on page 13 is that maybe when Trophy backs up to hit this guy, just to smush him, that she runs over the mace chains and pops a tire.
Uh,
And then I thought the better of it, because then how are they going to get down the hill? So I might not have, see, I have her, oh no, the tires, what did I do? What did I do? Which
mhm.
would be good
Yeah.
storytelling, but then, do I have like, that they have one spare, maybe?
Well, no, they're rolling into Mr. Ike, who's their master of arms and tech guy, and I figured that we're gonna beat the heck out of the ice cream truck, and then he's gonna have
Yes.
to, pimp it out, and then
Yes, that
Bill,
is definitely
and
the
then Bill, um, Turbo. So,
right. Well, then, he's right. Turbo's going to have a big debt, and that's why she's going to have to go into a pit
yep,
fight. And he's going to be her side man for that, and he's going to, like, hook her up. He's going to re-energize her gloves and all that.
yeah, because they're
But
dead. They're
I'm
dead right now, aren't they? There's no juice
who?
in her electro gloves.
No, we don't say until page 14 that we're almost out of fuel. And then she says it's okay, we can coast. This is after they get rid of these two last guys. So I have this page and one more page, which is the last two pages of this like 8-page fight sequence. And I'm just wondering how I'm gonna finish it up here, because I kind of made this go up here where these guys are wheeling around, and they're facing her with the crossbows. They're ready to attack her, and so this is going to be some hand to hand. But what? But I have to maybe like rethink this, because I don't know if I'm blowing that tire. Then we have to mention the spare. We don't have to show them putting on the spare, and so yeah, maybe she will be backing up. So I need to get these two guys, one of them in front of in back of the van, facing off with Turbo, and then she runs over them. And I had this with Turbo was saying, "Can we work something out?" And she was like, had her hands up trying to stall the guys, but I don't think that's realistic. She would never try to do like the mind thing with these guys for 1 second. She would just be in complete attack mode, and
Yeah, once she gets
because she would,
started,
yeah,
she's not going
because
to
she would,
negotiate with these
yeah, these
jokers.
guys would never negotiate. So I have to cross that out. So I have a blank there. Um, so basically these guys are just going to square off here, and they're going to maybe get off their bikes and say, we got the drop on you. She's out there exposed in the open, and then when when one of them gets in the right position, he gets run over, and then the next one, Turbo, is going to grab the mace chain, fling it around like a bolo, and then like whip it around his head and smash it and crush him. So he's done. But I don't know. This is all kind of like unclear. So that's why I need to work this stuff out here. So here we could have turbos out here, and they're just like getting off their bikes, and they drop their bikes, and they're shooting her. But wouldn't would one of them or the other turn their attention to Trophy? Do they both come after Turbo? They know that she's the threat, and so they just ignore Trophy and leave her unattended.
Mm.
This is like boom, 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 boom. What's gonna happen?
Well,
Um,
I mean, Trophy's still at the wheel, right?
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's just as important for the mobility of the vehicle.
Yeah, she could take off
But there's
too.
only two of them, and they might be smart enough, because I think that's a question on whether they're gonna have to team up to take Turbo down, or you take Turbo and I'll take this trophy gal, which is more taking out the driver of the ice cream truck, because they want the ice cream truck.
They want the truck. No, they want the girl and the
Yeah,
truck.
yeah,
Yeah, they want it
yeah.
all.
So you don't want to
And
hurt.
you
You
know,
don't want to hurt. So, but if you were to get into the driver's seat and hit the brakes, you would have some abilities to um, you know take on the truck.
well, I was. Yeah, I mean, I was also thinking. I have a little space here. I was thinking maybe one of them comes, close to her, and then she hits them with one of those egg things, and then it kind of uncoils right on their body. But I think something just came to me. I'm gonna say that Turbo's gonna try to draw these guys' attention, and maybe this guy wheels, or maybe this guy comes around, and 'cause he's got the crossbow, and he doesn't hesitate to shoot her, and so she's gonna take one in the arm, and this other guy gets off the bike, and they're approaching her like like cautiously, like wrestlers, and she's gonna say, take off, take off. She's gonna sell trophy, take
Yeah,
off, get to safety,
yeah,
right? um
because she cares about the truck and trophy girl.
right. Well, yeah, and she wants to draw these guys, but instead he's gonna get off, because they're like, well, what do we have now? Now let's see. Well, stuck in a corner, are we? Well, nowhere to run now, right?
Yeah, yeah. It looks like we got you now, there, tough guy.
Right, something to the effect of nowhere to run, eh? And so yeah, this guy will have like a pole spear, right? So she's like, no, I'm not leaving you. I mean, I don't know, is that too cliche?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up, yeah. And they have no relationship yet. This right now is the sort of forming lines to their relationship.
Right.
And so they're
What
not
Turbo
like
is saying.
buddies, or I mean at this point Trophy's probably terrified of being taken, by the Marauders bandits, and Trophy just wants to knock some heads around and keep her truck.
Right. So I have them kind of like like approaching Turbo, and she's gonna be in this kind of like stance, like this crouch, nowhere to run, and then in this next panel, I think, so the bottom panel is where they get run over, where the guy gets run over. So that'll be graphic, right? And God, this pen is really bad. I got this awful pen. It's getting ink all over the place. So maybe here in this panel, Turbo gets shot with the crossbow guy, but it's just like right in the meaty part of the arm, so it's not that bad. It's nothing for her. And yeah, maybe he's rushing. He's going by here, and she snags him off his. Wait, how do we have him? Oh, so one guy's gonna get. Oh, so he'll. How about he flies by? So how am I gonna show this? So he's gonna zip by her, and maybe I don't need her like on the left all the time. He's going to shoot by her and shoot her in the arm, and so he's still on his bike. This guy, right? He's coming down this way, and so he'll be past her over here, right? And he clipped her, and she's like a sitting duck out there, but she's doing it on purpose, and that's when the other guy is right on top of her with a spear, ready to strike. Right. So this is how we do it. Right. You're figuring out these movements and these motions. I mean, in a good comic, in another comic, they'll probably just like do pinups, like they'll just do like
The cool stuff.
heroic heroic poses, and then the next thing you know, the fighting's all over. But here she's got an arrow in her, and she'll be like arg, and this guy's just about to get her, and the truck's here. So then the truck goes over her, and maybe goes up on some two wheels again because they're crushing his body so bad. And then I have to look and see what's going to happen next. So we could have her pop a tire. We can afford. We can say there's one spare, but he's going to be in the. Oh, so he'll still be on his bike. So we all right. So we're fine. The guy is just kind of like circling around on his bike. All right. So I got this. So this guy's going to get smushed, and Turbo will be. Yeah, maybe she ducks out of the way, and she gets down to a 3-point stance like the Black Widow, right? Maybe it's like Turbo behind you. And so the good thing about the dialogue is that they can change at any time. So we'll go rum. Right, but Turbo's gonna have to jump out of the way too. I'm just thinking. So yeah, she'll have to fling herself out of the way. Or maybe she jumps up on the thing.
What thing?
She jumps on the back of the truck.
Why not?
I might have I might have her jump on the back of the truck. So yeah, I'm not sure about this panel yet, but let me just start drawing this one. So I promised a really big update, didn't I?
You did.
And I looked at my notes, checks notes. Where do they all get to? Oh, they're all in here now. Yes, I have a wealth of goodies in here. And for some long-term story development. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so I have it. Now I'm not seeing it. Well, isn't this awkward? I'm not sure where those big notes went, so I think that is in this pad right there. I was going to have this storyline come out later on, where Turbo's blood or her DNA is of interest to the scientific community, meaning the pharmacist and Elevena and the unbeknownst one, who are all developing, who are trying to develop, the answer to the question: which people get sick and die from radiation, and which people get stronger, right? And how do they isolate that genetic trait? So in the research, what they will do will be they will discover by taking DNA from glowers such as Turbo that they can figure out the genetic markers, and um, Turbo's DNA will be. I think I'm gonna have this flashback where Turbo's DNA was taken by Embra,
Ooh.
uh, off the glass that she drank out of, or the cup that she drank out of, and that when she's grown and she revisits Embra
Is this?
or her child will have a glower. Remember,
Mm,
Embra was like just taken with the fact that she was a glower, right?
yes.
And she wanted to have a baby like immediately, right?
Yes. Frisky
So
Embra.
for Scammer, so they took her DNA, and the scientist, he was the guy that built the gun, the scientist hiding out as a pharmacist, and he was able to take the DNA and develop, maybe like a grandchild who was a glower.
Hmm.
But I'm also thinking of having the unbeknownst one have kind of like this elixir vitae, um, which gives him the superhuman strength, to crush people's skulls and to defeat all of his enemies, and dispatch them quickly. But that it's something that he keeps having to renew, and I think I'm going to be at. So the idea was maybe when he's ripping apart the Lucha Libre guy's head, he comes in real close and he says, you know, I'm, our radiation detectors picked up this signature in your van, in your truck. Where did you get this from? Where did you get this from? And Lucha Libre will, Lucha Libre says, fuck you, I'm not telling you anything, and he's killed. But then the other guy in the van can be tortured and reveal where it was gotten from. And I was thinking about making that the maybe Dishvan the slaver, or somebody, where they got a hold of it. But the idea is that that Turbo's DNA has the markers. Once you look at it, you can see, like, like on an oscilloscope, the wavelength needed to regulate the you know so the concept is like, there's this one highly unstable radioactive element that they use, and it'll be called, like, whatever, Einsteinium or chrysanthemum or whatever. And then there'll be another one that's used to control the first one, and depending on the proportions that they are, the volume of it and how close they are in contact and the duration, that you can really control the whatever isotopes. I don't know, I wish I was a little more scientifically versed, but anyway, um you know this is where the fiction part comes. And so, they, like the scientists can basically just tweak these two combinations of radioactive materials in combination with each other to achieve the right balance. And once they have matched that wavelength, like that sine wave, that they see in Turbo's DNA, just as an example of a glower, they can reproduce it. And that means that these people, they can make somebody, exposure to those radioactive elements can make their, it's like a steroid, like a growth hormone, right? It makes them bigger, stronger, better, faster, etc. And the future may hold something like that in real life. It's just probably not going to be with radioactivity, although who the hell knows, right? We have human growth hormone already. We have all that kind of stuff. We have steroids, that fix your lungs up in a jiffy if you're sick, right? We have all these things. It's like, they should call that Wolverine healing factor, but instead it's called prednisone, right? So, so here are the notes. The unbeknownst one has the genetic formula to radiate. Oh, he has the genetic formula, and the genetic formula, uh, it radiates phase waves and the combination can make cells last longer, no degradation. Um, so I'm thinking of this kind of like epilogue, and Trophy Girl. We maybe she'll die at the end, maybe not. But if she does die, it will be from exposure to this radiation because she was not a glower, but she stole the flask of the unbeknownst one right before his pit fight with Turbo, and that and because he didn't have his last flask to drink from or to inject, he's that much weaker, and he wasn't able to crush Turbo's skull. And that won't come out until later, like in the epilogue. And Trophy may or may not have died from that, but in order to get access to it, she will have had to use her womanly wiles and do untold of things, right, in order to get access to that. And it'll come out later. The Gopher will explain that she did that. She swiped UB's thing, and that was his kryptonite, the lack of having his formula right before his pit fight. That's why he couldn't crush Turbo Skull. So I just have that one little note. Here I wrote down. I read Asagron 46 in his van. Right, that's what the unbeknownst one's going to tell the Lucha Libre guy, but right before he tortures his sideman.
When did you do this page here? How is this recent?
Yeah, this is just I was just sketching the Lucha Libre guy. I
Ah,
think
okay,
I
okay,
I
okay.
think I
I didn't know if you
this
had
mask.
this like preliminary sketch that you found.
No, this was just like 2 weeks ago. Um, there is going to be that moment. I think I have this in my notes, but in the very last issue, when Turbo is, you know, she's on the rope, she's about to get, her skull ripped apart. Um, the crowd is against her. They're rooting for UB. Um, in one of her last motions, she grabs his mask and rips it off, and that's what makes the crowd turn because they see that his real identity is, uh,
D. Hubertson,
Bannister D. Hubertson or whatever,
right?
whatever that is, gonna have that funny name. Um, and we're not going to explain at the time why he can't crush Turbo's skull. Yeah, we'll save that for the epilogue. So, skipping around a little bit here, where did you get this compound? I got it from Dish Von the Slavers, Rat Caravan, XRM Freebooters, who helped Lucha win the regional, and they laid siege to the venue. So Lucho is not going to be no great guy either. He gets the map.
Well, that's a can I like
Yeah.
neither is Turbo,
No, Turbo's just a pit
right?
fighter, but
So there's
and
this is just
she
work for
herself into
them, and that work
yeah, but
dynamically
they're
generates who they are.
right, and when we're talking about somebody's character in this world of dog eat dog violence, the kind of things that will define a good character, the white hats and the black hats will be things like they don't throw their people under the bus. They don't throw their assistants under the bus. They don't there's loyalty. They take care of their people. They were willing to risk themselves to sacrifice somebody else. That kind of thing. Although everybody does it for a reason. You don't just do it for a random person. You do it for people that you're familiar with because they mean something to you. So yeah, this was these kind of notes that will go back into the backstory and try to weave back into some of those characters. Your conspiratorial sojourns into the Ratskets make me want to skip it. Right. So I have a note here. Elevena took Turbo's blood at the orphanage. She was working on the phase wave formula in the prison, and that's going to be one of the main things that they were surveilling, right? The bad guys, that the captors were secretly monitoring her progress as she was developing this phase wave technology, because in the end everybody wants to make an army of glowers, right? The last stand at the prison, there will be some enhanced super females because Elevena is perfecting this technology. Oh God! So this this is where I might have gotten a little ambitious. So you're gonna try and bring me back. Thank God you're here. You're gonna try and bring me back because I might be over my skis on this one. But let's hold this one for a second. So here, here's some notes for a possible sequel of the graphic novel. Trophy will have a baby girl. Both die. I don't know if we want to kill Trophy at the end of this one, or maybe she'll live and then die in the next one with her baby girl. Trophy dying, Turbo takes down the road. Oh yeah, so this could be the poignant, last page. With Trophy dying, Turbo takes off down the Sunset Road in the van. They go back to the pharmacy. Older Embra has an irradiated kid from Turbo's DNA. Right. So these are two different thoughts, right? This will be the last image to end on, and then this is another scene
Just the prologue?
that the epilogue.
Epilogue,
Well,
sorry.
this is the possible last page, and Turbo's just driving off into the sunset with Trophy not doing so well,
Right.
and she's just going. Or we could show Trophy's death, and then after that, Gopher will explain that she swiped UB's formula. She snuck in and swiped his formula. But here's the part where I'm just admittedly going nuts. So when I was thinking of these enhanced super females in the prison when they're going to make their last stand, remember they're going to have this all-out attack by the captors, who will be like the people that took over the prison from the RM. So it'll be like XRM or maybe, a different warlord or something. But I was thinking like, okay, how did these women end up in the prison? Who are they? So Lizzie Byrne, real name Lizzie Burnham. She's a biker. Dolly Dagger, she's Asian. She was a wrestler. Sergeant Rialto, she was a soldier. Philomena R. She was and I have a question mark. Goth. So I was trying to assemble this super team of enhanced females for this last stand. But now I'm wondering, like, I don't know, maybe this is like, good stuff for a different type of idea, like,
Why can't
and
they
then
be
I
why
think
can't they be launched in this book and then revisited in
they
their
can be,
own?
because they're all going to die, or
That's
or at
fine.
least
That's
at
fine.
least the prison ever. Oh, so they can have the
Well,
the
it's all
uh
a
the
prequel,
prequel
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
It's possible. I just think I need one more. We were talking about the Glow Women of Wrestling. We were
Yeah.
talking about the prison gang. We were talking about the biker gang. You got your soldier here, but what is the other like setting that we could pull from, to make this the like a real Magnificent Seven type of a grouping here, even if we only have like four or five. I mean, we'll have Elvina, who's like this super tall scientist chick, and then there'll be some other supporting characters in the prison, but these will be her fighting force, which will be like the best fighters in the prison. They're the super team, of all the hundreds of women that are there, or thousands of women, whatever. And all I can think of so far was a biker, a wrestler, a soldier, and of course, a prison setting. So this is like, prison comics, female prison comic. What could be better? Um, but I'm still thinking of one more, and I didn't want to do like the village people, like a construction worker or something. But I do need some other, I because I was thinking of roller derby too, but I don't think they would have roller derby in this far flung future. A wrestler could be a pit fighter, basically. So that was launching me off into this whole other idea, and I was wondering, well, maybe I should just save that concept. And then I was like, that's it. I'm going to make a comic one day, and it's going to be called The Auteur. And it's going to be about this Russ Meyer type guy putting together a movie. And he's going to recruit all these tough women that all look like Tourist Santana. And one of them's going to be from a prison, and one of them's going to be from wrestling, and one of them's going to be from a biker gang. And he's going to put them together to make the ultimate movie. And this way, we get to do like any kind of fantastical setting, because it's, you could do vampires, you could do whatever, because it's all just a movie, right? But then you have the behind the scenes part too. And so I was just thinking, what a cool comic that would be, The Auteur, and it's all about, like a fake Russ Meyer. So you see how my mind just spins off endlessly into directions and fractals.
Well, I
So
just have to say, and this is completely, you and I did not discuss this beforehand, but it shows how connected we are. I had been working on a story. I even have a name for the guy that I'm not going to divulge yet, but a very similar concept, and it is
oh yeah.
it is um, based on Russ Meyer. Um,
Oh wow.
yep. Because I have a huge affection for him because, as much as he got slammed for being a smut dealer, he was an incredibly intelligent individual for creativity. And when you dive in and read about him and his connection to the seedy side of Hollywood, um, the whole behind the scene thing is more what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So, just the idea of, and especially for, you know, uh, sex workers today getting their, um,
Do.
well, it's just stop putting these people down, you know, for
Right.
doing something that 99.9% of us are logging on to enjoy. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's
yeah.
just such a sad state of affairs. But the concept for me was to take it along those lines of like how they're a part of our society in um, the sort of just everyday relationships and failures that they have. Um, you know, it's just like the rich and famous, or actors and actresses that are, of the highest. They're not free of, you know, depression or sadness or failure, or, they're not, just because they made it and everybody knows who they are and they're wealthy and being fun, they don't escape this stuff. So it was, yeah, it's definitely something that I've been toying around with.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, so this would be the thing, like, maybe we could, pitch it as an idea, or just, do like a 3-page, treatment or whatever. But, and there's no reason why we can't, like, put these elements together in this graphic novel, and
Yeah, if
just
they
kind of
make
like tease it.
sense, if it makes, you don't ever try to not do
But,
something.
yeah, I mean, the auteur idea could be, in today's contemporary world, it wouldn't be in a post-apocalyptic,
Right.
world,
Though
but
these days seem to be very post-apocalyptic. But
yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, it would have to have some kind of real fantastical, storylines. Like, I don't, that's just the setup. Where would it go?
yeah,
You can talk about. you could talk about the mafia funding the film. Oh, I think that's what. Now that I remember, I got to get my note thing. Now that I remember it, I did have this thing where the funding of the film will get pulled midway because of some like mafia shenanigans, and they're gonna pull the plug, and they might be like 90% done with this picture, and so that's when everybody has to pull together to finish the film, and maybe even the auteur guy dies at a key point, and these women want to see the film come out. But some real interesting questions would be, what would this film be about,
Yeah.
right? What would be the Because now you have two movies, you have a movie within a movie, right? Isn't that great?
Yes.
Right, you have the film that they're making, and then you have the real life thing. So that's like your inside outside. I love that stuff. Like, um we all know the Matrix, right? Where everybody's like plugged into the Matrix, and then when you come out, you're in this like terrible world that's been taken over by robots and everything. um I saw a really interesting movie on I think it was HBO or Netflix or whatever, called with Harry Styles, and it has these really interesting inside outside um plot twists. It's called what is it? Excuse Me, Lady, or something like that. It's like on the top 10 right now. But it reminded me of WandaVision, because it's like these all these couples live in this idyllic 1950s world, but their husbands are all going to work on this mysterious project, and all of these women are like kept at home as housewives.
Stepford
So,
Wives,
yeah, like exactly like the Stepford Wives,
which is
and
a
then this
great,
one
the
woman.
original one is a great movie. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, and I'm speaking to anybody listening that get to it, get to that and The Wicker Man. Those are two '70s classics that have to be taken on.
Yeah, so this one, so this movie is called like something like Relax My Darling, something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like Harry Styles' big entry into serious acting or whatever. But the lead woman is actually very good in it, and the story just gets better and better. So I recommend it. But point being, you have this opportunity, to set up this whole fantasy world where anything goes, because it's just Hollywood craziness and like coke addled script writers. And then you'll have the gritty reality, which I love just as much, which is like my William Burroughs influenced writing, where everything's really harsh, and there and depravity is all over the place. So so that's an idea for the back burner, huh?
Yes, and we are over the 45-minute mark because we like to keep these episodes bite size. Because you and I could sit here and talk all day and night long. Um,
We sure
but
could talk and talk.
yeah, we have to get to our Commandy episode 17 of 20. So it looks like we're going to be,
Wow.
yep, we'll be finished by the end of the year. If
Yeah.
not,
And then after we're done with the 20 commands, I think we really just need to go into like,
some.
show and tell,
Oh,
and
I
and
agree. I
do like,
agree. Because I was looking at the archive Boom Studios of the Planet of the Apes magazines.
yeah,
$150 right now.
for digital.
No, no, physical. Um, yeah,
What, for one?
for one book, tome, 400-ish, 400 pages,
I
the archival. Boom Studios put them out. It's the Curtis
put
magazines, black and white. Because I think we do need to review um, that series because it's heavily influential on post-apocalyptic, but more importantly, black and white. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, I remember just it being really good, serial storytelling, and they took the characters. There was the Alex guy, right? Was that his name? and there was like this main protagonist, white guy, like Alex or something,
Yeah, I can't remember right now.
or Jason or
It's
something,
definitely
and
that.
then
Yeah, it's definitely
you had the light keeper, and he had an ape companion, and then there was this guy like Gloop or something that said
good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, but
good
we've got
stuff.
to find some way of going, because even like issue number one of the original magazine is 30, $40. I've seen them on eBay. But it'll be interesting because prices do go down in January. So
Uh,
we're in a inflated holidays, you know, cost of stuff. Of course, when this
well,
video hits,
online,
it's going to be like
if
February.
you're going online to try to get a good price, yeah, I think you have to like empty all your cookies because they're just waiting you out, and
It's a
I think
good
that's how it
point. There's
works.
a couple of places though I have yet to go that friends of mine have told me about. And I'll probably just go to a clean browser and just definitely search for it
Yeah, it's
that
so
way.
weird, right?
Well, I had gone to one of these places and they did have them for like $40, but they were all sold out. So,
Right.
so yeah,
That could just be a teaser,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, but I think going through, I would love to do a four issue five. I like to do the Power Comics. I was just reading number two today, and absolutely, I think it's fantastic. And we got Night
Yeah, see,
Witch,
I don't the thing I don't
and
get
then
the thing I don't get about the Power Comics, because I looked into it a little bit.
did you watch the channel? Did you
They
get on the
they
channel?
Yeah, I went to the YouTube, and it looks like they're just showing some like low budget self-made indie comics.
That
So what does Power Comics publish?
they don't publish anything specifically. I think they really just kind of started out as a, hey, these comics don't get any kind of love. They're funny in one way, but creatively, it's somebody sitting down and, as I've kind of referred to it, at a high school level, and I'm not saying just like from their technical, but their impulsiveness, and they just ride it out, they push it out, and it comes out, wonky. Benjamin Mara is usually uh, on the set with them, talking. And he actually, as a technical comic book artist, wants to achieve that level of power comicness. Omwat, which is OMWAT, which I can't remember what it is his big book. I'm trying to get a copy of that. That's $100 right now. Risograph
Yeah.
treatment. But
Oh,
there's a lot going on out there that I think is just getting resurfaced, and then Power
yeah.
Comics is collecting or reprinting. I guess they're just kind of legally finding the best and most appropriate way of being able to
They are
go that
publishing
down.
it. Okay, yeah.
So they're
Okay,
they're
I
but
get it.
they're working with somebody else. I think Forbidden Planet. No, somebody else. There's so many shows that I watch and everything. I don't want to convolute anything. But I'll put a link in the description below that goes directly to Power Comics. I also put them as one of our feature channels.
Okay.
So there's also Small Press Express. He does some really cool stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would really, and thank you again for giving me your copy of Dr. Bang and his big guns, because I really just can't get enough of this guy. And the graphic quality. I think he's also
Hmm.
somebody I think we should try to get, in a conversation and just sort of hear from him, because he just did this and ran off, into the real world. I think he just does
Yeah.
graphic design or work some good
Hmm.
decent stuff to get into. Um, you know,
Yep, that's what
I would like to get. I'm one of my hopeful Christmas gifts is I want to get at least volume one and two of Spain Rodriguez's
oh boy.
Fantagraphics collection.
Oh my God. Talk about a
Um,
madman. Come on. I mean, he's a true underground guy. His stuff is,
yeah,
you know,
well, he's from Zap. He's
it,
from Zap with S. Clay Wilson and uh, Robert Williams, R. Crumb.
but he had a
Um,
lot of like very intricate. kind of like Where's Waldo level of detail, and drug induced and very, very adult. And, I'm sure that his collected volume is going to be a real coffee table piece.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've seen some sneaky peeky stuff, and yeah, it has me
Yeah.
pretty much in the desire of. So anyhow, that's where I'm at. That's all I have. Let's let these good people go. Do you have anything else, Jake?
Nope, we will see you next week. We finally caught up on all of those like little factoids that I wanted to build into the story. So
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. Really good stuff. And we've got work to do.
yeah, man. All right, see you next week.
Cool.
Bye,
All right.
everybody. Tune
See ya.
in next time. Later.
Yep. Later.